Hi there, welcome to another episode of my YouTube channel, Maritime Education Redefined. And I'm very glad to see that people are encouraging me in this channel by posting various questions with respect to GMDSS and the general communication and navigation. Today's topic I'm going to discuss is about the gyroscope on board the ship. To understand what is a gyroscope, what is the function of a gyro, we need to know the working principle of the gyro. Now, what is the working principle of the gyro? It's based on a gravity and is explained as the product of angular momentum, which is experienced by the torque on a disk to produce gyroscopic precession in the spinning wheel. This process is termed as gyroscopic motion or a gyroscopic force and is defined as the tendency of a rotating object to maintain the orientation of its rotation. We know that the rotating object possesses angular momentum and this needs to be conserved. This is done because when there is any change in the axis of rotation, there will be a change in the orientation which changes the angular momentum. Therefore, it can be said the working principle of a gyroscope is based on the conservation of angular momentum. Now, having understood a brief concept of the gyroscope and its principle, we need to see how many types of gyros are there. Basically, there are three types of gyros. One is the mechanical gyro, and the other one is the optical gyro, and the third one is a gas-bearing gyro. Now, why do we use a gyro on board? The gyro is basically used on board a ship to determine the heading or the course of the vessel with respect to true north. And when there is a gyro, naturally there are going to be errors in the gyro also. And now, what are the various types of errors in the gyro? This is, of course, we should know. There are the latitude error or the dampening error, which will happen above 70 degrees north or 70 degrees of south. You have the speed error, the course error, and the latitude error. And you have the gimbal error, and you have the ballistic deflection error, ballistic dampening error, gimbal error, etc. Now, we are not concerned about the ballistic error or the gimbal error or the other error. One of the most common error which most of the seafarers may not come across is the latitude error or the dampening error. In my experience of 35 years in shipping and as a sailing officer, I have never come across any such error called as a latitude or dampening error. I hope most of the sailing community also may not have come across such an error. But there is a possibility that people have experienced this type of errors while sailing, especially in the higher latitudes above 70 degrees north and 70 degrees of south. Now, all of a sudden, what happens? Why there is a high error rate? This is also a question being asked by the surveyors in the MMD examinations. As we know, the gyro, the principle of gyro is it is having an axis, it is having a sphere which is made of bakelite hyaline and which is having a rotor and motor inside it and which rotates at a high speed of 20,000 RPM per minute. And from basic physics, we also know that any object rotating at 20,000 RPM has a tendency towards settling in the north and the south direction. So, we know that the gyro is based on this principle. It is having a rotor rotating at 20,000 RPM and it is going to have a tendency to settle towards the north and south, which is not really the direction of the ship or its heading or the course. Now, the latitude or the dampening error most of the people, or mostly the student community, may not be aware of such a error existing, but still, there were some students who have asked me these questions in the last few days. What is a latitude error or a dampening error in a gyro effect? Of course, this is a technical term, but the question asked by the MMD surveyor is why the errors of gyro are high in higher altitude, or why the gyro fails in higher altitude. We know that the Earth is circular and it rotates. And the rotation at the equator is linear, and any object, especially the gyro, is always going to settle at the horizon with the axis pointing toward the north. So what happens is this is also affected by the tilt of the object on the ship. For example, if the ship is in this angular direction, the horizon is going to be straight and there won't be any error. But let us assume the ship sailing on a higher altitude range, something like this. What happens is as it goes above 60 degrees or 70 degrees high latitude, the tilt of the vessel is going to be more, and the horizon for the gyroscope will not be there. It will be looking to settle at the horizon, but since the tilt will be more, the horizon will not be visible, and so it will always be seeking towards the true north, which may not be available to settle. And the difference between this true north and the tilt angle is the latitude error. This is called as the latitude error, right? Now, can it be corrected? Yes, it can be corrected. How? For every 6 degrees, above 70 degree north or every 70 degrees south, you have to do a latitude correction, error correction for every 6 degrees. But sometimes they say it's for every 10 degrees. But I would say every 6 degrees you do an error correction for the gyro, and the error rate should be less. I wouldn't say the error rate will be 0, but the error rate should be less. This is one reason. So there is no reason to get panicked about when you sail up in the north or below south. Gyro fails and the duty officer gets panicked. No reason. But anticipating this, that you will be going above 60 degrees, 70 degrees north or 70 degrees south, you should always start planning your error correction so that the error in the gyro is minimum. And the second one, and the other various other errors in gyro. The gyro was working perfect. All of a sudden, it starts wandering. Now, what is wandering? Wandering in the wilderness. The exact meaning of wandering is nowhere to go, nowhere to settle. Keep looking for something where that may settle. In this case, what happens? The disc in the gyro keeps rotating continuously, seeking to settle in the horizon, but it will not settle because the horizon, it cannot find the horizon. What is this? Why is this happening? You should understand the gyrosphere has a life of maximum 20,000 hours. So on an average, 24-hour day, 360 days makes it around 7,400 hours approximately. 7,400 hours approximately, or 8,000 hours, which means the life of the gyrosphere should be close to 3 years, 2.5 years to 3 years. So the gyrosphere has to be replaced on an every period of 3 years as per the OEM. But we know that companies or labs, they don't change the gyrosphere, one thing. And the second worst part is they don't even do the annual servicing. This is the second part. Both of them are very important. In my experience, I have come across a ship where the vessel was built in a Chinese yard in 2012. And I attended this gyro in 2018-19. And all the records said that the gyrosphere is more than 5 years, which one indication is that the gyrosphere has to be changed. And the second indication is that there were frequent errors in the gyro. The gyro was failing very frequently. and there was no service record maintained. Now, what is this service of gyro? Like the liquid in the latest type of liquid gyros, like the Yokohama or the Yokogawa or the standard or C-Plat gyro or any other gyro, you have a sphere which is going to be filled with the silicon-based liquid, which is manufactured by the specific OEM. You cannot change the liquid from Yokohama to standard 22 or the other way around. The liquid is based on certain principles, certain calculations which can be manufactured only by the OEMs. And what happens is, the liquid being a conductive material of electricity, and there is a ring inside the gyrosphere, between two gyrospheres, between the rotors and thing, which conducts the electricity from the different other associated circuits and sensors. And because of this and the high speed, there is a possibility that the carbon deposits might get settled in the bottom of the sphere. And once we get a carbon deposit, it is going to act as an insulator, and the performance of the gyro is going to be reduced, or it will start giving errors. To avoid this, you need to replace the gyro on an every yearly basis. And this has to be done only by the OEM trained engineers. And of course, I am one trained by Raytheon and maybe Yokogawa, CMZ series, when I was with JRC as a service manager. And during the journey of my 35 years of industry experience, I had picked up a lot of other byproducts also, which has given me some knowledge. I wouldn't say a vast knowledge, some knowledge about the gyro. This is one thing. So maintenance of the gyro, annual servicing of the gyro is a must on a yearly basis. And the second one is hunting. What is hunting? You should understand, an object rotating at 20,000 cycles per minute is definitely going to take time to settle to zero. And in a gyrosphere, it will take minimum 2 to 3 hours for the gyrosphere to come to near zero every time you switch on or you switch off the gyro. This is called as the settling time, and this is very, very, very important, especially when you are switching on the gyro after service. So, to do a gyro service, even if it is an annual service, unless you have more than 12 to 16 hours in hand and the vessel should be alongside a berth, then only the gyro service is suggested or recommended, because for a gyro to settle at its horizon, it needs a steady heading. And in anchorage, where the tide is going to change, where the current is going to change, your ship is going to turn, the heading is going to turn frequently, a gyro will not settle. This could also lessen the life of the gyrosphere. So, let us come for this hunting. Let us assume the ship is alongside a berth and the servicing has been carried out. You have allowed 3 to 4 hours of settling time, but it is usually about 6 hours. But now the latest gyros even can settle at maybe an hour or so, something like that. So suppose the ship head is at, let us say it's 2 to 5 degrees true. Now, after settling, the moment you switch on the gyro, the rotor is going slowly start picking up the speed till it reaches the 20,000 RPM. And as it picks up the speed, the current is going to change and all this is going to happen. And as it picks up the speed, as it comes close to the 2 to 5 degrees, the disc, instead of rotating at a full circle, will start hunting close to 225, maybe 5 degrees or 10 degrees onto the port and the starboard. It will first rotate 10 degrees to the starboard and then come to the 225, then go 10 degrees to the port. And this operation keeps continuing. And over a period of time, the 10 degrees hunting between port and starboard will reduce to, gradually it will reduce to 2 degrees and 3 degrees and 1 degree and 0. And when it comes to 0, you can see that the gyro heading is exactly 225 as your chart heading. And this is what we say the gyro has settled at its horizon. Give time. You need minimum 6 hours, minimum 4 to 6 hours for a gyro to settle. If not, you are screwing up the gyrosphere's life. The second thing, after gyro, the most important thing that will be neglected by most of the people is the alignment of the repeaters. Let us assume you switched off the gyro at heading of 225 degrees, and then the repeaters, the port and the starboard and the wheels, center wheel, the wheelhouse repeater will be showing 225 degrees. Fine, no problem. But what happens after switching on the gyro after the service? The gyro starts rotating, and since the repeater is going to get the feed from the master campus, the repeater will not be in a position to follow the rotation of the gyroscope or the master campus. And so what happens? The repeater will not be aligned. How do you align the repeater? After the gyro settles at the scope, at the horizon, on the port and starboard repeater, there is a switch where you need to toggle it up, maybe on or off condition, and then with your hand you can change the disc of the repeaters, and once it comes to the correct heading of the master campus, you can lock it. This is how the repeaters are being aligned. So, in this short video, I hope that I have explained about the examination point of view, the high error rate of gyro at a higher altitude, and also the various other things that is associated with the gyro, like the wandering and the hunting. But this is the least. Gyro is a very critical subject, and it's a very critical equipment. If the gyro is failed, I think most of the seafarers must be aware how tough and difficult it is to take a vessel on a hand steering, especially if the voyage is going to be long, and if it is going to be in the Pacific or in the Atlantic during monsoon time, or even at any time during sailing if the vessel is in Bay of Biscay, and if your gyro is failed, God save you. So this is a very critical equipment, and maintenance of this equipment is of paramount importance, which of course is being neglected for various reasons. It's not under my purview to go to the reasons, but as a technician, as a service manager for Yokogawa, as a service manager for Raytheon, I would sincerely hope that this is being taken in the right spirit and the gyro is being maintained properly. As a bystand, I also have a small workshop doing repairs and maintenance of the GMDSS equipments and the gyro service, and I myself have been part as a radio surveyor for most of the classes like class NK, ABS, BV, you name it. In India, I've been doing survey right from the year 2000. So almost for the last 21 years, I've been doing the radio survey. And for the last 1.5 years, I have not been active because of the pandemic, and now I am slowly thinking of getting back into the groove. That's it. Let's hope and see. Thank you for watching this video. My next topic for discussion will be the VHF from the GMDSS perspective and from the examination point of view. The very high frequency, VHF. Channel 16, DSC channel 71, all these things. Keep watching. Good sailing. Thank you.